A lot of the content that I've been sharing, particularly over the last couple of weeks, have been very much geared towards alleviating anxiety, depression, or any intense emotional reactions that people may be experiencing because of the global pandemic. I suppose I've been looking at concepts such as the futility of worrying about a future that we know nothing about, the importance of having a level of acceptance and surrender for that which we have no control over, and also the importance of recognizing that this too shall pass. And I understand that a lot of people came into this pandemic already in a state of adversity, whether it be financial issues, whether it be that they're struggling with their mental health or their home circumstance. And it's not that I'm suggesting a spiritual bypass or that people, put a positive light on everything or find gratitude in their distress. It's just that I'm trying to convey how important it is for us to, more than ever before, promote and do our best to sustain our mental, emotional, and spiritual health and resiliency, because God knows over the next few months we're going to need it. And I suppose I don't often refer to my own mental health history, mainly because I don't feel it's relevant, nor is it necessary, and it's not something that I over identify with. However, I have, I suppose, a good 30 years experience under my belt dealing with my own mental health issues. I have come through chronic addiction, eating disorders, personality disorder, depression, anxiety, OCD, PTSD. I mean, I could write a book. I should write a book. But what I'm trying to convey here is that I'm not, kind of sitting here telling you how easy it is to implement all of these practices. I'm telling you about them because they have made all of the difference in my life. I mean, literally, the only way I have got as far as I've got, despite the fact that I have been near death numerous times, whether through suicide, whether through, kind of accidental overdose. And I am so grateful, even in the darkest of days, because I still experience dark days, that I get to be around and that I get to do the work that I do. And despite everything that has happened, I still feel lucky, And I suppose it's recognizing that if you can try at all to shift your perspective a little bit, if you can recognize that oftentimes so much of your pain and suffering comes from the way in which you interpret the world, the way in which you allow your thoughts and your emotions to take over and to consume you and to very much color how you see reality, and to recognize as well that you're never going to be free of uncomfortable feelings or distressing thoughts. I mean, I think for an awful long time that kept me stuck. I thought that, okay, I won't feel better until I actually get rid of all of the negativity in my life. And it was only when I found acceptance for the fact that I possibly was always going to struggle, maybe a little bit more than other people. And I learned to coexist with it and to do my best despite the fact that I had these thoughts and I had these feelings, and that I could trust my heart and I could trust my intuition and I could trust my soul, but I couldn't always trust my mind. And these were real game changers for me. Also recognizing that, and I know what it's like to be in a state of depression and in the depths of darkness. I also know what it's like to be in the height of anxiety and not even being able to cope with your own skin. It's just such a horrible physiological visceral sensation. Like it's disgusting. And not being able to see an end to it. But I also understand that none of these feelings last forever, and sometimes we can act like as if they're going to. And when we're in that place, we assume that we're worthless, we see the world as a horrible place, and we assume that our future is bleak. We nearly experience a hopelessness, and once we allow ourselves to attach to that hopelessness, then things get very, very scary. And it's about recognizing that it's not so much about letting go, it's about releasing your grip, because we do attach ourselves to our suffering like a safety blanket. It's like as if, particularly if we've had, kind of a lot of adversity or trauma in our past, it's like if we assume that things are bad, then no more bad things can happen. And unfortunately, all that does is it prevents us from experiencing any of the good things as well, and it feels like as if the world is this permanent bleakness, and it doesn't have to be like that. But then again, the world isn't this permanent utopia either, and it's recognizing that there's always going to be ups and downs, and trying to kind of flow with that a little bit better, try to recognize that even in the negativities there is lessons to be learned. And as I said, that can sound so patronizing and sanctimonious when you are, as I said, at a point where you're ready to take your own life. But the reality is, all of the wisdom that I have, all of the capacity that I have to work with people at the level that I work with them, has come from the darkest times in my life. And as I said, it's just about finding that little bit of hope in yourself, being able to try to see another perspective, being able to challenge the thoughts that are self-centered and myopic and bleak and dark and negative, and bearing in mind, finding compassion for the fact that we all attach to the negative. It's not just that there's something inherently wrong with us. From an evolutionary perspective, we have to assume that things are going to be bad, but it's about trying to divert our attention wherever possible to the little things that are good, even if it's just the sense of achievement that you feel from having a shower in the morning, putting a little bit of structure in place, kind of sharing a bit of connection with a loved one, doing something nice for somebody else. So much of my well-being is based on getting out of my own head and trying to help somebody through their experience. And it's about where we choose to put our energy, because as I said, if we allow ourselves to ruminate, if we allow ourselves to be consumed by the fear, we're only one step away from anxiety, from depression, from addiction, from whatever it is that has potential to destroy us. Whereas if we can try to use our conscious awareness to make good decisions as frequently as possible, I'm not asking anyone to be a saint, then it will make all the difference. It does build towards a better way of living. And it's all about the little things that you do. It's all about, challenging yourself to see another person's perspective, challenging yourself to challenge your thoughts, challenging yourself to sit compassionately with your emotions, recognizing that life is not going to be perfect, but finding joy in the sunrises and the sunsets, or in the lovely smells that are around you, trying to practice things that are good for you, particularly during this time. It's very tempting to just drink and eat and kind of have your schedule all over the place. But if you can implement a little bit of structure, keep yourself away from too much negativity in your news feeds, and just take it day by day. That's literally all we can do right now, just very much accept what it is, put action in place where you can, and then let go of what you can't. And I suppose it's an investment. It's an investment because over the next few months, you're going to need to be the best version of you that you can be. And I'm just trying to get you to give yourself the best possible start at that by just, being kind to yourself, being kind to other people, doing nice things, looking after yourself, putting a structure in place, eating the right foods, taking care of your health, handing things over, things that you can control, and just, as I said, living the best that you are capable of living right now, whilst also not being too hard on yourself. Again, finding a sweet spot, a middle ground between accountability and leniency. So I hope everyone is okay. I hope everyone is staying well, and I shall talk to you again soon.